I just published a guidebook to the Fujifilm X100S camera, and I'm going to use this video to give you some additional information, give you maybe a better view of some of the accessories that are discussed in the book. This is the official Fujifilm brown leather case. It comes with this nice leather strap that attaches to the clips on the two sides of the cameras. You have to install the clips yourself, and you can attach that strap. The case itself comes in two parts that snap together. One half that protects the lens and the front of the camera, and then it snaps to the bottom of the other half of the case. You can just unsnap that half. Then you have this very nice half case that again protects the main part of the camera. One really nice feature of this case is that it has a leather flap that opens and closes and snaps closed to give you access to the battery and memory card compartment on the bottom of the camera. So you can just unsnap that leather flap, and then you can open that compartment on the bottom of the camera without having to remove the case. This other case, the BlackRapid SnapR 35, is one I really like for this camera and for other cameras in this general size class. It's nice because it has this special feature of a strap that screws very securely into the tripod socket on the bottom of the camera. And then the camera is attached to this strap that slides along, back and forth along the shoulder strap or neck strap that is the main strap attached to the case. So you can have the case kind of hanging around your neck by the main strap, and then the camera is attached to that strap, and the camera can still slide in and out of the case very quickly for rapid access to it. So you can just, as soon as you see a need to use the camera, you just pull it right out and it's ready to go. These two pockets on both sides of the case are very roomy. They have space for filters, filter adapters, batteries. They zip closed, they're cushioned. Overall, it's just a very useful case. It's just one of many possible cases. I use others from Pro and other companies, depending upon how much other equipment I'm having with me on a particular day. Now I'm going to show you three different flash units that all work with the camera, all from Fujifilm. This is the Fujifilm EF20 flash, a nice small unit that tilts up and down for bounce. One slight problem, as you can see here, it somewhat blocks your access to the shutter speed dial. So it's a little, at least with my fingers, it's a little bit awkward to get access to the shutter speed dial. It's possible though, it just takes a little bit more effort to get the dial turned. As I say, it tilts up and down for bouncing, and it does have a built-in diffusing panel that just flips down over the flash to diffuse the flash somewhat. This is the large unit, the Fujifilm EF42, kind of a full-sized unit. It's a little bit overwhelming in size and weight for the camera, but not too bad. If you just hold the camera firmly, you can manage with it. And it's a powerful flash that bounces by tilting up and down and by swiveling horizontally around from side to side. So it's quite versatile in terms of what angles you can aim the flash at. And of course, again, it integrates with the camera's exposure system, so it's a good choice if you need a particularly powerful flash unit with this camera. This is the smallest and the newest of the units. This is called the EF X100S flash from Fujifilm. It's very small and compact, fits well with the camera, works automatically with it, and it has flash exposure compensation, and it also has a built-in optical slave capability, so it can be triggered by other flashes. And it has settings, so it can either ignore or not ignore a pre-flash from another flash, causing it to fire at the right instant along with the camera's exposure. So it has the built-in optical slave capability. It also has the lever on the right side that works a wide angle capability. In other words, when you flip the lever to one of its positions, the flash has a wider angle of distribution rather than its normal 28 millimeter wide angle flash. It can do a 20 millimeter wide angle lens coverage. Now I will talk about the filter adapter and lens hood. These are not the official Fujifilm adapter and lens hood, but they're generic equivalents. In order to attach the filter adapter, you first have to remove the front ring from the lens. That's a thin ring in the very front of the lens. It can be a little tricky. You just have to get a good grip on it, and then it screws off counterclockwise very easily. You just put that aside someplace. Of course, you'll be putting it back on again later, so don't lose it. And once you have that front ring taken off, then you can put on the filter adapter, shown here, which has these tabs on the outer part. So you want to install it with those tabs at the outer side. Then just it screws right onto the lens where the front ring was removed. Then once it's installed, you can install the lens hood or any 49 millimeter threaded filter, or you could do both actually if you wanted to. This is the lens hood, a generic equivalent of the Fujifilm LH-X100 lens hood. It has 3 slots that correspond to the 3 tabs on the filter adapter, so you just get that installed there, and it protects the camera from bumps to the lens, and it shields the lens from flare from the sun or other light sources. Here I will just show you the installation of a standard 49 millimeter filter. This happens to be a Hoya R72 infrared filter, but of course there's lots of different types of filters you can install on the camera once you have the filter adapter in place. Any 49 millimeter filter should attach very easily. Just screws right into the filter adapter, and then you're all set. And again, as I said, I don't show it here, but you can also attach the lens hood once you've attached a filter. Of course, you can use others besides infrared, UV, polarizing, etc. This is the Fujifilm wide conversion lens, a very nice, nicely made, high quality accessory. Somewhat expensive, but it does the job if you need the extra wide angle. It converts the 35 millimeter wide angle lens to be a 28 millimeter wide angle lens without much loss, if any, in image quality. So it's a very nice accessory if you happen to need the wider angle. It does not use the filter adapter. You just screw it directly onto the lens once you've removed the front ring. It just screws right on there. As it's made by Fujifilm, you don't need to use the filter adapter. They have it designed so it goes right directly onto the lens, and then you're all set. You just have to go to the menu option for wide conversion lens and turn that on so the camera will know that you're using the wide conversion lens, and it can correct for any distortion when it creates your JPEG images. Now I'll show you a couple of external microphones. The Fujifilm X100S does have a very good quality built-in microphone for recording audio for your videos, but if you want to, you do have the capability of attaching an external microphone. If you're willing to go through a few steps, you do need to use at least one adapter for any microphone that you install on the camera. This is the Fujifilm microphone that they designate for use with this camera, the MIC-ST1. As you can see here, the plug that comes with the microphone would not go directly into the camera. Once we get the microphone installed in the hot shoe, then we'll screw it in with the locking wheel there. Then that plug there is the 2.5 millimeter stereo mini plug there's no place to plug that in directly on the camera, so you need to use an adapter. Fujifilm ships this microphone with two different adapters. First, I'm going to show you an adapter that will adapt it for use with other cameras. That's this little adapter here that changes the 2.5 millimeter plug to a, what I believe is a more standard size, a 3.5 millimeter stereo mini plug that can go into lots of other cameras or other audio equipment. But for use with the Fujifilm X100S camera, you have to use this little short cable adapter that takes the 2.5 millimeter plug and then ends in a micro USB connector. Now, unfortunately, it's a non-standard micro USB, so you can't just go out and buy a generic micro USB connector if you're looking for one. This is the one that comes with the camera, and it will let the microphone plug right into that USB port on the right side of the camera. And it's a good quality microphone. It probably gives you a little bit better low frequency response than the built-in mic. This is another a higher end consumer level microphone, the Rode Videomic Pro. Now this will show you how you can use lots of other microphones, because a lot of them come with this 3.5 millimeter stereo mini plug. And in order to use that with this camera, you have to first of all get an adapter that adapts it down to the 2.5 millimeter plug, the same size on the Fujifilm microphone. Then you have to use the other adapter that comes with the Fujifilm microphone that takes the 2.5 millimeter plug and ends in the non-standard micro USB connector. Now the trick is to find that adapter cable. So far I have not been able to find one other than the one that comes with the Fujifilm microphone. So you are going to have to search around a little bit or make your own. There is a user at dpreview.com who wrote a good post about how to make your own adapter cable. And I would hope that eventually some company will start to make an adapter cable, but for now the only way to get that adapter cable that I'm aware of is to get it with the Fujifilm microphone that I showed you earlier. But once you have that cable and the other adapter, you can plug in this microphone or many other microphones, and it gives you a very good quality, good low frequency response, and it has a nice suspension system that insulates the microphone from noises from the camera. So it's a good quality one that you might want to consider. This is just a generic battery charger. Of course, the camera comes with a perfectly good battery charger, but if you want another one, this is inexpensive, and it lets you, of course, charge another battery while you're charging the first battery. And this is a generic battery from Sterling Tech. It works fine as far as I have noticed. I had no problems with it or with other generic batteries. So it's an option to consider. The charger comes with a cable that lets it plug into an automobile electrical outlet for charging when you're in your car. And there's another option that I'm going to show you for use with the official Fujifilm charger. This is the one that you get, at least in the United States, the VC-65N charger, which works just fine to charge a battery, but you have to use this power cord, which is a little bit bulky and unwieldy. So if you want to avoid that, there's one way you can get around it that I'm aware of, and that is if you happen to have an old Apple USB wall charger like this one, or a similar model, or maybe there's other chargers that would do this also. It has a little detachable plug that I'll just pull out here. And then that plug has the same size connectors as that power cord for the Fujifilm charger. So you can just plug this little connector in to the Fujifilm charger, and then you have electrical outlet plugs ready to go. For me, this is a much more convenient way to use the charger. You don't have to use that cord. You can just plug it right into an outlet. I use my charger like this all the time because it's easier than having to deal with the cord. If you want continuous power for your X100S camera, you can get the Fujifilm AC power adapter shown here, which comes in two parts, the cable and then the power brick. But then there's a third part you have to get separately. So unless someone is selling them as a bundle, you have to also go find the DC coupler, model CP95, and there's various other DC couplers for other cameras, but you have to get this one, number 95, which of course, as you can see there, is shaped the same as the battery, but it has a little cable that plugs into the AC power adapter cable. So to use this setup, you have to take the battery out of the camera, and in its place you install the DC coupler. It goes in the same way that the battery does. Of course, it has a power cord attached to it, so in order to be able to close the door to the battery and memory card compartment, you have to remove that little plastic plug, which stays attached, but you just have to pull it out of its channel and then thread the power cord through that little channel and latch the door firmly closed. Now you're all set. You can plug in the AC adapter and have continuous power if you're doing a long session of uploading images and videos to a computer, or if you are doing lots of scientific photographs, taking a long series of videos. Of course, each video can only be 10 minutes, but you might be taking many videos in sequence. There you have it. For more information, see the new book about the Fujifilm X100S from White Knight Press.